Hi, Bo here from High-Tech Investment, and in today's video we're going to talk about GPS Forex Robot, and we're actually going to wrap it up. We have now been testing the robot since December 2020, actually long before this YouTube channel ever started. So I bought it privately, tested it for a long time, and after 6 months we actually made a video on this. And in today's video we're going to go through step by step how we've done with it, and we're also going to show you our different accounts where we've been trading it in the different ways to make sure, or at least to check which one made profit, which ones didn't, and also the settings that we have been using will be all revealed in today's video. So let's get started and let's have a look. So the first part we have here is the initial video of the sequence here. We had 100% profitability income robot was the first one we sent out, and it actually did quite well, but no losses for the first 6 months, which at the time we found quite astonishing. So we hadn't really seen any EA do that before. So we were quite intrigued with this and started to work a bit more on it. So what we showed here at the time was a profit of a 10,000 euro account at the time, so made up into 11,200. Not much when you think about it's over 6 months, but a good stable profit. And as you can see also on the last part of the graph here, we made some changes, we made some tweaks to try and get a bit more out of it. And that's most probably where it went wrong, because the next video that we actually sent out back then for the GPS robot was this one here, where we explained exactly, and this was in June, so shortly after we had reversal trades and the account basically blew. So we had a closer look at it, and we also started to sort of look into the different settings for the GPS Forex Robot. This is the same account you see here, so a bit later on, where we had one reversal trade, which was the small notch first down, and after that we blew the account. And this was with reversal trades that started to intrigue us quite a bit. So the first part of this graph was actually only traded with the one currency pair. Later on we extended it to all 4 different currency pairs. As you can with the robot, you can decide which ones you want to trade at any given time. So the other part we did was we were quite intrigued to see if we could actually make a profit without the reversal trade, which we found was very scary. So because obviously this is a scalping robot, and it only takes small pieces out of the market, but the stop loss is quite high. And when it puts in the reversal trade, the standard setting is 5.9 times what the initial trade was. We had put ours at 7, which might be a bit too high and not recommended, but anyway, we used this in order to create a profit on a reversible trade. Then we had a good profit again here in the beginning, where we traded all 4 currency pairs that were available. And we could show that everything was going great up until a certain point. And then since then we've been testing and adjusting the robots. And unfortunately also we had a second time where another account blew, and this time it was with a different broker, as we also used FP markets and we used IC markets to test the robots out. And we had the issue here coming in October, so where we showed it in our news reports what was going on, and it took almost 3 weeks where we finally lost out on the last account. So in the next couple of videos we're going to show you the different settings that we have used along the way. So, and also the FX Blue site, that is kind of confirmation of the trading that we do. I can show you a bit more in detail how this works, and we will also make sure that all the links for the FX Blue is in the bottom below in the description as always, so that you can go in and you can have a closer look at how we traded this. and if this is anything you can use if you want to continue trading with the GPS Forex Robot. But we will come to the conclusion after you have seen these accounts here. So let's jump on to the first account, and we'll show you exactly how the individual ones have done. The first part we're going to start with on this particular account is just having a look at the settings, and we're using the money management system, so that was set to true at all times. A lot size was 1, and then when we started this particular robot, we started actually on the standard settings, so lot risk factor at 10, and it's also recommended not to go higher. We saw an opportunity obviously because it did quite well at the time, so we put it up to 20, and we'll also show you exactly how you can see this. The auto part was also set to yes, which means that it only traded somewhere between 2 or 3 times a week, small portions. Later on we changed this also to see if we could squeeze any more out of the robot, so that's why we set it to false, and then we basically let it run from Tuesday to Thursday. Friday can sometimes be a bit of a messy day on the trading side, so very unpredictable, so we didn't want to use this. And apart from that, we haven't really made any changes. We had the trading stop we kept on obviously, so and we also put this reversal in, and the trading stop we put in, and you can also see the difference and when we did this. So those are the initial settings. There's not much else to do on these robots. So let's have a look on this. We can see here when we started. So we started back in December. So I think it was actually on the 24th. There you go. It was 1 up. So, and after that it did quite well. It put in a lot of profit, and you can see the profit is over here. So about 30 euros every single time. And it did quite well for a long period of time, where here we opted, well actually the lot size was changed. We can see it was actually changed right here. So we were now looking at back in February, where the lot size was increased from, and you can see the previous one here was 16, and then we increased the lot size, so double the profits. And if we go a bit further down, we can now also see the trailing stop that we put in. So this is not a loss, but this is the trailing stop, where if it continues to move in the same direction, you'll basically not close out. And that's also where we saw some higher profits, so even 70. So with the same lot size, only adjusted for the money management system. So everything was going quite well. So it was looking sort of pretty profitable. And then we end up having a couple of reversal trades, and the first one happened here, lot size 2.24, and funny enough we actually had another one on top of this, so 2 reversal trades, but they both cashed in. They cashed in on this particular one here and that one there, and let's just have a look at it. We believe it's right back here, so there you go. So we had one that set itself up here, so with the buy it went the wrong way, so down here, and basically added the reversal trade in that we saw and closed out here. So we had a second one, and this is because we have several trades allowed at the time. So there was another buy that also went the wrong way, and again went all the way down here. The reversal trade took care of it, and we got out of both trades with a slight profit. But later on we were not that lucky, and that's basically what this indicates here. So again here we went into a buy, and it ended up all the way down here, where we had to use the stop loss, and then it did a reversal trade for this particular one, and we find that down here. So let's see, we have this particular one, sorry, 1 up. So this one we have here is the first buy, is the blue one that I highlighted here. So that's the one we lost out on. And then unfortunately the trade went the opposite way. And it's a bit hard to see here. Let's just try and zoom in. So, but where we ended up here, you can see from, it says the 15th, and it's around 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's basically over here where we then lost out, and more than 8,500 euros were lost, and basically the account was blown. And that's all it took after such great work over a long period of time. And yeah, that's why we obviously trade them on demo to try and figure out exactly how they work before you put real money behind it. Let's go to the FX Blue here to see how that exactly looks. On the FX Blue, it looks like this, and we can see that little tap you had down here was the 2 reversal trades we had in a row, and then the next one, as you see, basically made it from the top where we had 12,222, and we dropped all the way down to a balance of 1,700. And that was basically the end of the account. Later on, you can see we had more smaller reversal trades, so obviously we just let it run with the money that was left to see, and we had another cut along the way. So if we go and have a look at the stats for a sec, you will see here so that the history is 343 days. The weekly returns and everything else is in minus, unfortunately. So if we have a look at the days, we can see that we started off on Christmas Eve the 24th with a trade here. So everything was profitable, similar to what you saw on the MT4 platform. And the net profits are here, so 10, 11, 22, it's going quite well. And when we come to these ones here, again we see the numbers that you saw on the MT4 platform before. So the reversal trades for the individual days. So, and then down here we have the larger one that basically killed the account. So looking at a weekly perspective, so you can see the net profits are going quite well for many weeks, all the way down to here where we're starting to squeeze a bit more profit out of the robot. And after this, basically we end up down here, so with a huge loss. If you take it over on a monthly part, so you can now see this is December, and then basically month by month the profits that have been made, so which is lying somewhere between 0.2 as we can see here and up to 2%. And after that everything goes terribly wrong. So that's the first one here. Look at the risk. Obviously the risk is not looking so pretty, so the probability of risk of loss 100%, and obviously that's exactly what we saw. So let's go to the next account. When we have a look at the second account setup, which is still trading the euro US dollars, again we have the management set to true. We have the lot risk reductor at 10, and then we have the auto part on to true, so the robot decides itself when it wants to trade. And if we go further down here, we'll see that several trades is allowed, and you also have reversal after stop loss, after it hits the stop loss, and then we have the trading stop, which only claims a bit more money at the end of the day. So it's definitely a good thing to have this one on, as you will never lose with it. So we can see this particular account, it was a fairly newer one, so from September, and it didn't take too long before things started to go a bit wrong. And it went basically the wrong way here on the trading side. So we had a buy in here, and it ended up down here. So we entered into the stop loss. It did the reversal trade, and we got safely out of it again on the other side. With the factor of 7, we basically got the money back. So if we have a closer look, we'll see a second reversal trade, and that is the one we will have down here. So also marked in blue. And this particular one here, again, it went against the trend. We hit the stop loss, and then basically it entered into a reversal trade, and lucky enough we were out of it very quickly again. So, and again, we managed without losing any money, and we had a couple of profitable trades after that until we hit this particular one, and this was a fairly long one. So on the charts it looks like this. So the one we have highlighted here in blue. Again, we entered a buy for this particular one, and it took a long time actually before we hit the stop loss, and then the reversal trade kicked in, but there was not enough room here so to make up the money. And what it did was basically the trade stayed open all the way through, and it came over these peaks here without hitting the stop loss. And it took roughly 3 weeks, and then we ended up with this, which was, as you can see, slightly higher, and the account was once again blown on the reversal part, and unfortunately shortly after, so the price dropped again, but that didn't really help us much. So let's go to the FX Blue and see how that looked, looking from that perspective. So on the FX Blue account, it looks like this. So in the beginning we made good progress, so a couple of hundred here and there. We had the reversal trades, we managed to get over these again, and we ended up here basically at 10,483, so basically a profit of 483 euros in this case. And after that we lost out on the one buy, and the reversal trade is then the one that you see here, that we ended up all the way down here and account blown. So not much left on the account here, as you can see on the stats side. When you then have a look on the, you can see it ran for 134 days. Day trades again started off fairly okay until we get to these points here where we had a couple of reversal trades, and then we managed to get over this again, and here again we have the reversal trade, or the loss trade on the buy, where the reversal trade is this particular one, and then that put us completely out. If we look at the weekly results, we can see again the net profits, pretty okay profits as you go along, not many percent. As you can see, the percentage is over here, so fairly low, and everything went sideways here. So on a monthly basis, it's a bit easier to have a look at net profits here for the first 3 months. Again, we're talking about 0.6%, 2.7 and 1.5. And then this is where everything goes wrong. So definitely worth having a look and saying, okay, the percentage that you make, is this actually worth it? And that's where the reversal trade is a high concern to us. So let's go to the third account and have a look and see how that did. Looking at the third account, we can see again money management is set to true. In this particular case, we are now trading the 4 currency pairs that was recommended so by the GPS vendor here. So, and we set the risk reduction factor down to 5. We made a change also for the auto part, so we set that to false. And we managed to wanted to trade it from Tuesday to Thursday, not Friday, as again we believe that it's too volatile and can go against us quite a few times. So we decided not to do this. Several trades allowed. We took this off simply because we already had 4 robots running, so too many trades is obviously going to kill it. And again, we used the reverse trade strategy also, and still a factor of 7, and we have the trading stop on, which is only a good part. This particular one again, we started off this one here back. We set up the account and it started to trade. So back in June, and we can have a quick look. So there's one here that is not so good. Basically, we have a buy that has gone south at the moment here. Went into a reversal trade, and again the reversal trade, it didn't go far enough down, and that means that at the moment here we are actually looking at the price has gone against us. So we'll have to see. We are not out of this trade yet, but obviously again it's a concern. We have one that is a bit more positive. So this was a sell that also went against us here. So, and then that went into a buy for the reversal trade, and it already closed here. So that is all set, and happy with that one. But obviously again, as you'll see when we go to the FX Blue, we started off with 10, we are now down at 3,400. So obviously we lost a lot. So let's have a look and see which currencies did the best. On the FX Blue side here, we find the same pattern again. So obviously we did quite well up until a certain point here. So you can see the different currencies that we've been running. So Euro, British Pounds, Euro, USD, British Pounds, USD, and USD, Swiss francs. And these are basically the currencies that the GPS Forex Robot vendors here say, okay, you can use these and it will work quite well. Which we saw, obviously it did quite well. But again, we hit a couple of stop losses and the reversal trades didn't go with us, and then it looks like we made a bit of profit along the way, and then we got hit yet another time. So the account is not completely blown, as you can see here. So but obviously out of 10, then it's still definitely not a very good setup. So let's have a look and see if we can actually extract something positive out of it. So first of all, again, history 177 days. So, and return is in big minus. So obviously not a very good part. On the day side, we're going to skip that because there's not really much to have a look at. But we can see here on a weekly basis, we are making good percentages. And now this is on a weekly basis compared to the monthly before where we made 1-2%. So you can see percentage-wise, it's gone up 2.9, 6% here, 8% here, and then obviously we get a big hit again for the reversal trade not going with us, and 25% can simply not, make it up for what we have gained here. And then again we have made a bit of profits, and then we have some further losses here up until we get to the big one where we again get a huge hit, and that's the reason why this particular account is also suffering. So the net profit, as you can see, for the first month we made almost 300 or 13%, and after here so we lost 2,500 and more than 22%. The month after here, so we gained a bit back, 3%. So, but obviously again, for the losses that we then incurred, simply only going one way. But there is something positive to take from this. If we have a quick look at the symbols here, we'll then see that the main minus on the profit side is the Euro, British Pounds, lost almost 4,900 here. Euro, USD, 1,500, British Pounds, USD. But funny enough here, if we only have traded the US Swiss francs in this particular time, we would then have made 316. So that's not bad. That's at least something to take out of it, and that's something you can, if you want to continue trading this, good information for sure. So the winners are all looking fairly equal, as you can see. So on the percentage side, so which is quite good, it's quite high. But again, the reversal strategy seems to basically kill us every single time. So let's have a look at account number 4 and see if that one did any better. So based on the information that you just saw before, it's clear that the reversal trade is not always a good thing for sure. So as it can blow your account, or at least take it down very, very quickly. So what we've done in this particular case is, again, we are on 4 currency pairs. We are using the money management set to true. The lot risk reduction factor is set to 5. Auto analysis here is set to false, which means that we again decide which days, and in this particular case we do Tuesday to Friday this time around. And after this, several trades allowed, we say true, because now we are no longer involved here with the reversal. So it means that we have more money basically for any trades. So we wanted to see how that works. And again, we use the trailing stop and set it up like this. And that means that there's no reversal trades if they go in the wrong direction, similar to what we have here. So in this particular case, we had a sell pot and it went south instead of having then the reversal, which in this case we saw on the other one. It was a buy. We could have made the money back. We don't do that here. So but we obviously try to see if we can make money over time with it anyway. As you can see already here, again, the account was at 10. Now it's at 4,600. So the account was opened, as you can see here also, fairly recent. So and a couple of bad trades are happening, and they are simply too big compared to what can be had at the end of the day. So so that's unfortunate. In the FX Blue site, it looks a bit easier to have a look at. So let's go there for a quick second. So here the FX Blue looks a bit more manageable. Again, we got off from to a very good start. So, and we made basically almost 900 before we start having some losses. And this is not reversal anymore, remember. So this is basically just losses from the individual currencies. You can see then we're making up money again, and then one of them has a loss, and we continue just to roll down the mountain here. So even without the reversal trade, it looks like the stop loss is simply too big. So compared to what we have of profit every single time. If we go and have a look at it, it says the history is 134 days in this particular case. And again, we just go to the weekly parts. And we can see we came off to a good start, 1.5% on that week, 4.4 the next one, 2.7. And then everything goes south again. Here we lose 10%. The week after we lose 9%. And then we gain 6 and 3. And then again we have losses. If we look at it on a monthly basis, you'll see we have 5 months so far. The first month was a profit, so 6%, which is not too bad, and what should be expected normally when you trade Forex and you have a decent robot, if not more percentage for sure. And then we have losses for the next 2 months here, so at almost 10% and then 33% here. We came up in October and we actually made a very good profit of 800 and more than 13%. And then again we simply lose out at the end of the day. And yeah, so overall it's not really working for any of them in this particular case. On how we traded this time around, the Euro British Pound seems to be the best one with the minimum loss, but all currencies had losses. So we only have one account to go here, so let's have a look at the last one, and that is actually the one that does the best. So with this last account, we're back to just one currency pair, so the Euro US dollars. And in this particular case, again, the setup is money management set to true. So lot size is fairly small, as you can see here. So the risk reductor is 10. And then we have a look, the auto part is again set to true, and we let the robot do the work for it. And as we go down, so several trades allowed, which means we let the robot run with it, but we have taken off the reversal trade. So that means we are basically running a standard robot just without the reversal trade. And with that, we would hope that we could make up some profits. This particular account also, we started again with 10,000, so we can always compare them. And as you will see, we did quite well in the beginning. So we had some good profits going all the way down here. And then we starting to have a couple of drops where we basically end up on the stop losses. So, and the reason for this again here is, as you can see, that this particular case, this was a buy and we hit the stop loss down here. So this is a huge gap and around 90 something pips here. And it's very, very difficult to make this up on the individual trades. So especially because this is just a scalper, it means that it just takes small pieces out of the market, takes the profit, and then waits for the next time around. Again, here you can see the gap is very small. So only a few pips, as we said, 6 pips it's set up for. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it can be a bit more with the trailing part. But every single time we have, again here, it's a bit difficult to see with the blue color, sorry for that. But again, you have a buy here and you basically lose out at the bottom, and all these small little profits that we have along the way is simply not enough to make this happen and gain profits over time. So let's go and have a look at our last FX Blue account to see how that exactly presents itself. Looking at the last account, we can see again that the pattern is the same. We are doing quite well in the beginning here. So we made almost 500. And after that, we had 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, 4 loss. Remember, this is not any reversal trade. This is simply just 4 losses out of all the trades. And you can see here, even we bottom out here last time. So we're slowly but surely gaining a bit of money back. But simply the stop loss is too high, too heavy every single time, and that means that it only goes one way, and that is downwards. We're not making enough profit on each trade, again, because it's a scalper. History, 134 days, so plenty of information here. On the weekly site that we have, we can see that it's done okay on the weekly, so we've done a bit less than a percentage, so 0.5% sometimes, but profitable. And then we have some losses, and here we get the big ones, so 800 or 7%, and again 7% here, 8% there, and that basically kills our account slowly but surely. When we look at it on a monthly basis, the first 2 months we get some profits in, and then after that just one negative trade is enough to basically kill the account. So and there's not much we can basically do about it. So at the end of the day, it's the setup of the robot. And if we have a look at this, we can see, yes, it is the only one that has lost only a couple of thousand, but still that's not what we want to see. So let's sum it all up, so in a few words here, and we'll give our recommendation. So let's sum up what we have here. So we've now been testing this from one account for almost a year, and then the other 4 accounts here we have now tested in different setups, different currencies, and unfortunately all of them seems to have fallen short, so we haven't seen much profit. We know that other people are running the standard setup, and that might be okay for them also. We don't believe that it is worth sort of running this robot with that small profit that we have. I mean, we are talking about a couple of % a month if we have to follow exactly what the vendors of the robot is saying. And at the same time, you have this big black cloud hanging over your heads on the reversal trade that might and might not help you out. So we certainly don't like the fact that with so so little gains that we get over time, we have to risk this much. So the robot is something that we will not continue with. So if people have good experiences with this, feel free to share it. We would like to hear your stories about it and how you made this work. So we believe that there's other robots that are better out there that you can work with. So we are not saying this is a scam. It's not, because it's actually quite profitable most of the times. So, but it is very difficult with the setup that they have, being a scalping robot, only taking small pieces of the market and then leaving the stop loss at such a large gap that it's almost impossible to make this up again. And as we can see on the multiple accounts, we are making good progress, but every single time that we get stopped out, so then we simply lose more than we gain. And slowly but surely it's going the wrong direction. So there is obviously the option also, you can go in manually and handle this from time to time, but that's not really the idea of the robot. It's supposed to do it for itself. Otherwise, if it was possible, it would be lovely to backtest this one and figure out what the stop loss should be, like you can with so many other robots here. You can go in and test over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months, and then you can set up your take profit and stop loss. In this particular case, the GPS Forex Robot, you can't do any type of back testing with this. It's basically a plug and play version. So that is not an option. So we think it's a good product, but obviously over time, as we can see, even though that we make some good progress and we make some good profits, at the end of the day, it looks like we are gonna give more away than we actually gain. So we're not really interested in trading this one here on any live accounts for the future. So and you have to be very, very careful if you want to continue running the robots. Definitely cannot recommend the reversal trades there. That is simply too risky for anybody. You can test it out and try it on the demo accounts, and we suggest that you do that on multiple demo accounts like we do, so to figure out if you can get this to work. So yeah, we put ourselves onto other projects for the future. So we hope that this has given you a good insights if you should or should not buy the GPS robot. And if you decide that you do, then at least look at the video here as some hard-earned lessons for you, so to make sure that you don't lose all your hard-earned money. Yeah. So for this time around, I'll see you on another project. Cheers. Bye-bye.